Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're joining me from. It's nice to be back here. You're welcome to my channel. This is Health World View. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. I have actually made a video regarding Prince Andrew bid to overturn, a legal bid to overturn, considering rather, a legal bid to overturn the multi-million-dollar settlement he made with Virginia Giuffre. But I saw some other discussion that I think, oh, wow, this is from a different angle. I want you to listen to it and let me know what you think. If you've not listened to my first video, please take time to listen to the first video so you could kind of compare the discussion and the kind of debate that actually went on both of them and come out with your own conclusion. Please don't forget to share, like, and make a comment. Subscribe so that when we have other videos, you'll be able to be one of those to hear and to watch as well. Thank you. Yes, here we go. This is from Lorraine. Awesome.
Now, though, Ghislaine Maxwell has been speaking from prison in Florida for the first time since she began her 20-year sentence. In an interview broadcast last night, she talked about everything, from that infamous Prince Andrew photograph to Epstein himself. Well, joining me now is Lady Victoria Hervey, a former girlfriend of Prince Andrew, who also knew Ghislaine Maxwell, alongside US lawyer Dr. Anne Olivarius. Thank you both for joining me this morning. And Victoria,
hello.
He's always denied all of these allegations all the way along. So why on earth did he pay it off? Why do you think he paid it off?
I mean, in my opinion, well, from what I know, he didn't have a choice. He was forced to. He basically didn't get his day in court and was not allowed to fight. You know.
Who would have forced him though? You know, someone like him, from what we know of his character, who would have actually had the power to say to him, "You're not doing this"?
Well, who do you think?
I don't know.
Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, you think? You think it would have come from them?
I do. I think it was Buckingham Palace put the pressure on him, and he basically was not allowed to fight it.
But surely he would know the consequences of doing this, of settling. He must have known that what would happen. He would be ousted from the royal family. You know, he would be a pariah. He would never be able to get back in again.
Well, actually, I think that as far as that, the titles were supposed to be given back to him. They were never, officially going to be taken away. It was only briefly going to be taken away while it was going to be fought when he was going to be a private citizen in court.
Now, this notorious photograph that we've seen of Prince Andrew and Virginia Giuffre, and we can see Ghislaine Maxwell in the background there, she says it's a fake. Yeah. He says he doesn't remember it being taken, and he also said in that notorious interview as well, he said, "I've no recollection of that," but he never said it's a fake. And if it was a fake, why has he not said this long before?
Well, I don't think he was allowed to say it as a fake, because otherwise, he could have had Virginia possibly come after him without having enough proof that it is a fake.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's how do we prove? Because this is back in 2001, isn't it? Yeah. When things like photoshopping were in their infancy, and surely we would be able to tell whether or not that's been photoshopped. So many people have looked at it. But
exactly.
Do we know who the original is?
Yeah, I mean, I have, I've been in contact with the person who I believe is the real person that took the pictures at Kennington Street. And he's told me exactly how it was done, and that he was involved in actually doing the photoshopping.
Let me just very quickly ask Anne, because Anne, has he got any chance at all? Thank you for talking to us this morning. Any chance at all of overturning this, of perhaps going to a trial, of perhaps getting the money back? Is it at all legally, possible for him to do that?
Look, our firm and I have handled hundreds, if not thousands, of cases of sexual assault, trafficking. And I can tell you, when these settlements are agreed in New York, it's really hard, virtually impossible to overturn something. There has to be evidence of fraud. But of course, the settlement in this matter was not because of the photograph. That was never a part of it. Sure, the photograph has been part of a PR campaign, and it has ruined his image. It's digital proof that he actually knew, Virginia Giuffre. That's true. But the settlement, unlike what Lady Victoria has said, with respect, he was involved in this litigation for over a year. He had excellent counsel, and it's one of these stories, again, where we see so often a wealthy man accused. He says, well, I didn't do it. He fights for over a year with really excellent counsel. They make decisions, right or wrong, they make decisions. He had a choice then to settle up right at the beginning before a big public brouhaha had happened, and he didn't do that. And he only settled because he gave that Emily Matlis interview. It was shown that he's really an arrogant and a man who just cannot accept any criticism of himself. He told stories that cannot be vindicated about the Pizza Express, where he was that night, allegedly with his children. And of course, this whole thing about being in, the Falklands and being a hero and then suffering afterwards, deeply suffering and not being able to sweat, which medically has been challenged. And his lawyers knew that he was coming up to a deposition in the United States. And in the deposition, you have to answer questions, or the judge intervenes, or you're found in contempt. And so he'd have to answer questions about his lifestyle, about the gang of men he hanged around with. I mean, he's got lots of pictures with Epstein. Those are much more powerful to me than the one with Virginia Giuffre. So, he had this deposition coming up. He was going to have to try to tell the truth. And he decided, I better settle this case, because if I don't settle, I've got bigger problems.
Yeah.
So that's why it had nothing to do with the picture of Virginia Giuffre.
So the photograph.
That she's just she's talking very generally and everything. But as far as that, he was made to settle. He had no choice in the matter, and the picture is the only thing that Virginia has been using against him, trying to prove that they were even together, but it's not him. If you look at that picture behind, so I've actually been in this house and I've stood exactly where they're standing with the same furniture behind. There's the chest on the right-hand side. I don't know if you have a picture of that you can show
but
up.
Things can change in a house.
The scale is completely different. No, actually, the picture I have, it's completely the same as what this is, with the same chest, and the scale is totally different.
But we can talk about this picture, and we can talk about it. At the end of the day, Virginia says this picture is
she
real.
says one thing, and now there's a couple of people saying, actually, no, Virginia.
But why wait till now, though, Victoria? That's the thing.
Because I think, personally, what I think, Ghislaine hasn't said something before because she was dealing with her own legal matters and she wasn't in a position to be able to say that. But if you actually read one of her depositions, she actually says in the original deposition that she does not believe that this picture is real.
But do you we're putting an awful lot of emphasis on this photograph. At the end of the day,
at the end of the day, he says
he paid money to make this go away.
At the end of the day, he says he's never met her, and he's always stood by that. And if you look at everything, even when they did settle, he still said, he didn't apologise because why would he apologise?
That's the bizarre thing, though. But and the thing about it is,
at the end of the day,
you must admit he made a massive, colossal error by doing that interview, and the way he came across in that interview. Is that the man
well,
you know?
He's not media trained. You see, this is the problem.
He's been doing that job for years. He should be by now.
He's not, though, and he hasn't been media trained, and so that was a huge mistake.
You don't need to be media trained to sit and have empathy with people who have gone through a terrible, terrible ordeal.
No, I know.
I mean, there was no empathy. There was no, I'm sorry for the victims of this man. There was no him saying, I can't believe that I was friends with him.
He's just very factual. I think how he remembers things and the way he says things, it's more done in a factual kind of military style way, which is, I agree, the way it came out, the delivery was not what people wanted to hear. But actually, when you replay that whole interview, which I have a couple times, the bit where it's obviously bad is where he doesn't, say that he regrets knowing Jeffrey Epstein. That was where he messed up. But I think the rest of it actually isn't that bad.
Well, we might agree. We might.
I'm
sorry, Anne, you were wanting to come in there.
Yeah, I mean, I must say he messed up by associating with these people, with leading a life that gave him contact with a convicted sex trafficker, and with Ghislaine Maxwell, a proven convicted felon and a liar. Why anybody would be interested in her view and that this allegedly, is a false picture, I don't understand. And, the whole notion that he was forced to settle is one more time that it's the mother's fault. The Queen forced him to settle. It goes back to mothers again. We're all at fault for what our boys do. It's extraordinary, and that he should still debate this. I think he's just digging a deeper hole and showing what a weak moral creature he is. Stand up if you're a military man, take the heat and deal with it. Apologize. He settled with a working class girl. I know that's really humiliating for him, that his behavior is what needs to be apologized for and corrected.
We'll need to leave it there. Thank you so much.
So this is a big this is such a big thing, because now he wants to settle. He feel he's settled the case, and they want to, is considering to overturn it. With what this lady is saying, Lady Victoria, she was an ex-girlfriend, and she's trying to kind of defend him. And this is what she said that I kind of like, oh wow. She said the title was just to be taken away for that he couldn't do anything about it. He was not allowed to fight it. He was not allowed to go, to push back on this allegation or to fight it. Where were they supposed to fight it? In the courts in New York. Then she said, then she went as they talk about it, she went on to say, well, the title that was taken from Andrew was temporal because of the court case that he was going to fight. So it's two different things she's saying. He wasn't allowed to fight it. Then he was allowed to, the title was taken away temporarily while he goes to court to fight the case. So which of them should we take? Did you pick that up? Just saying. Then it says he wasn't trained to speak to the media. I mean, I believe he would just say his truth. I don't know, if he was saying the truth. I don't know if he needed to be trained to say the truth, or that I don't get. So what do you think about that as well? That she went on to say the person she believed, she said she believed, the person she believed took the picture, told her, the person that did the Photoshop said the person she believed that person has spoken to her that it was Photoshop. I mean, if you have such a witness, why don't you use them? Because Victoria is saying there's other people there, that there's some couple of people that are coming up to say this and that. Why don't they come out? That would be a good defense for him. I mean, maybe in the beginning they could have, for that 1 year, like Dr. Ann said, within that period, they could have come out and said, well, I did the Photoshopping for these people. This is where I did it. This is what happened. He wouldn't have to pay such a huge amount of money to settle it. So I don't know why those people had to come out, and I don't even know why Victoria is not asking them to come out or come with her to the interview to say, well, I did the Photoshopping, so let it go up the way they want to take it off from there. Or perhaps you should introduce the person or persons to Prince Andrew now that he's considering legal bid to overturn the settlement he did with Virginia. And then the other one that I picked up was some people know that it's not the picture, who are the people, they can come out, if you watch one of my video, the one I made before this one, in the same situation, there's a guy there that said he knew that is Miss Maxwell's apartment. Everything is exactly how it is. But she is saying she has a different picture, which she didn't bring to the studio as a proof, as to support her own defense. She is saying no, something has been moved about, knowing that sometimes people can move this, but that's not, I'm not even into that. So two different people are saying two different things. The guy is saying, I know, she's saying, I know. So take time and watch the first video, and then let me know what you think. Don't forget to make your comments, subscribe, and like, so that when we have videos like this, you'll be one of the first people to know. Thank you for joining me today. This is interesting. You know, I just hope they're able to deal with it well and move on. So will you be watching the coronation? Also, let me know. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. See you next time.